Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Johnny. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, randomness, out of the blueness, reactions, lists, reviews, rankings, could try to do a commentary. That's up to you. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Johnny wanted me to do one on the classic Big Trouble in Little China. I have a pause at the beginning. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. We have the 20th Century Fox logo. Music starts playing. And someone's speaking now. Now, for what I understand, this is a scene that was added after the fact. This wasn't the part of the original film, but I guess a studio guy or producer guy said, you know, can we have a scene where it shows more that Jack Burton is a hero? And Victor Wang here is being very appreciative of what Jack Burton did. But I liked it. I think it sets a nice little tone of things to come. Plus it introduces Victor Wang earlier, because we won't see him for a while. Now I believe the guy's talking right now is Jerry Hardin, I believe. I think he was in Wanted Dead or Alive with Rutger Hauer, and he also played the character Deep Throat in the first season or two of The X-Files. A guy talking with Fox Mulder about what was going on and the secrets of the government. And then, of course, the other is Victor Wang. Victor Wang, I had seen a lot of movies. The Golden Child, the same year as this. He was in the Three Ninjas films. He was in Prince of Darkness later on, also directed by John Carpenter. Wonderful actor, sadly he's passed away. I always thought Victor Wang would be the best voice of Splinter for a Ninja Turtles movie. I mean, I know that's Japanese, he's Chinese, I know, but voice actors play a lot of different roles. And Victor Wang, again, plays a similar role in the Golden. And the funny thing is, John Carpenter was up for the Golden Child to direct, and he's like, I don't know about this, and then went off to do his own movie. So this came out in the summer of 1986, and Golden Child came out around December of 1986. Here's a little bit of things to come. I love these old school electrical effects, done more like animation style. I always thought they looked better than when they just went with CGI with it. Just something about it just looks better, looks more. I would just go back to that. And here with the great music by John Carpenter. I love this music. One of my favorite John Carpenter scores. And with the Pork Chop Express, and without a doubt, one of my favorite characters Kurt Russell has played. That is all the reflexes. Just Kurt Russell playing this John Wayne swagger, but he's also dives well over his head. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. Barroom brawl. Pay your dues, sucker. Jack Burton says, time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail. I mean, the music, the performance by Kurt Russell, you know you're in for a great experience just watching this. And the CB this right here introduces what kind of character this is. Again, the swagger, overcompensating. Again, it's total like John Wayne type of performance. If Escape from New York was more Clint Eastwood, was more a comedic version of John Wayne. And it's one of those things where, from what I understand, the original idea for the film is supposed to be more of a Western, where there's a cowboy comes into town, his horse gets stolen, not his truck, and then this cowboy goes into this world of the supernatural. Which I'm surprised they didn't do that, because John Carpenter always wanted to do a Western, but I actually prefer that it's more modern. And the guy who wrote this, I think, he had written Buckaroo Banzai. I know he's interviewed on the Blu-ray I have. Because it was on Arrow Video Blu-ray, and then Scream Factory released a Blu-ray. And it carries over the features from that, thankfully. And, Dennis Dunn gets interviewed. Sadly, I wish it was a longer interview, but it was nice to hear from him. Yeah, W.D. Richter. He worked on Buckaroo Banzai. And John Carpenter is my favorite director. Easily. Because I looked at his filmography, and I love The Thing. I love this movie. This is my second favorite. The Thing's number 1. This is number 2. I love the energy. I love the characters. It's funny. It's creative. It's unique. And I say these characters just work well together. Kurt Russell and Dennis Dunn. Dennis Dunn would also be in Prince of Darkness. Same with Victor Wong that John Carpenter did. And Dennis Dunn didn't do a whole lot. He was in... God, what was that movie? He was at the very beginning. Warriors of Virtue. He was at the beginning of Warriors of Virtue, and then he never came back in that film, weirdly enough. You think that'd be like... I don't know. I think he worked on a TV show for a little bit. And then he just, disappeared, sadly. That's why it was nice to see him on there, just to know that he's still alive and going. Wayne, hate to do this to you. Easy come, easy go. No. Ah, come on, man. It's just a game. Sorry, I'm just going to be quoting all the dialogue. Now, John Carpenter in his career, by this time, he had done Halloween, which was a success. The Fog, which was a success, which I love. Escape from New York. All great movies. Then in 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing comes out. To me, his best film, and it was a complete bomb. And just didn't deserve it, but it did. And then after, he did films like Christine and Starman that helped him get back on the horse. Because they did decently at the box office. They did more good films. And then I think it led to 20th Century Fox give him a chance. Big studio. And I think he had, other than the opening, a decent amount of control on the film. Good enough budget to have some really good... Okay, this is a classic scene. Great catch here. Boom! It's all in the reflexes. But sadly, this film... And by the way, this has a wonderful commentary with John Carpenter Caruso. If you never listen to the commentary, you need to. It's one of the best, more fun commentaries out there. And they mention, Caruso mentions, when the film's coming out, no one knew that was coming out. No one knew if it was out yet. And that I like the posters. But, the trailers and TV spots could have been better. Who is Jack Burton? And Caruso's like, who is Jack Burton? And who gives a shit? Because, no one knows who Jack Burton is. And, Kurt Russell, Escape from New York did well, but Kurt Russell was not an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone kind of brand name at that point. We all know and love Kurt Russell, but at this time he wasn't like this big box office known personality. So this was a time where he alone could not open a film. And I would love to have seen this in theaters. And I mean, 1986, I've maintained, is probably my favorite year for movies. Aliens came out that year. This came out. Maximum Overdrive came out. The Golden Child came out. The Fly remake. My favorite Star Trek film, Star Trek 4. Short Circuit, which I love. Just a ton of movies I love came out. Jumpin' Jack Flash, my favorite Whoopi Goldberg film. I mean, The Golden Child's my favorite Eddie Murphy film. This is my second favorite John Carpenter film. Aliens, one of my favorite films, period. Cobra, one of my favorite Stallone films. This is a great year for movies. And there's Kurt Russell looking at Kim Cattrall. This is well before Sex and the City. And this is around the time Kim Cattrall would later do, was it Mannequin, which was a hit. I think she was in the first Police Academy. I think Porky she was in. But Kim Cattrall is a lot of fun in this. That sort of fast shooting dialogue. Not. I think it's Miller time, I think she says. What about you? What's wrong with my condition? It's Miller time. The music is so good too. Like John Carpenter knew how to handle that so well. And also in the US, there were not a lot of yeah, he turns is like the wrong lady. And then Dennis Dunlap. And then I did like buddy rapport between Kurt and Dennis. But this, not many big budget studio films had this much in terms of dealing with the martial arts and Asian actors. I mean, maybe like before, like Enter the Dragon, you had movies like that, but not in this way, this fashion. And in a way, at the time, it's very progressive. It was ahead of its time. And like you look at this film, Dennis Dunn is really the more of the typical star, and Kurt Russell's character is like the funny sidekick. Where'd you get that? Because Kurt Russell is the guy who's bumbling around, doesn't know what's going on. He fumbles through fights. He can barely shoot a gun. There you go. He gets swept off his feet. While Dennis Dunn, he knows the environment. It's his girlfriend that's been taken. He knows how to fight. He's more capable in the action scenes. So it's like the switch of the hero and sidekick. Dennis Dunn is not the typical sidekick. He's more like a hero. And Kurt Russell's not the typical hero. He's more of a sidekick. And they did the switch. And so many people didn't notice at the time. They just flew by their heads. And nowadays, people understand that, but back then, people were like, huh? But that was very cool, and I always thought this was a cool shot. This, boom. Oh wait, I gotta wait for this line. One of my favorite lines. Son of a bitch must pay. And that's for me. It just goes. We're 13 minutes in, and without the opening, it would be like 10 minutes in. Boom, just goes. I think there's a deleted scene where there's more of them following this red car, and it getting lost in the shuffle. That's who they're trailing. There's Victor Wong again. But yeah, I mean, other than Bruce Lee, like Enter the Dragon type of stuff, and maybe some Chuck Norris doing some martial arts. I'm not saying there's no martial arts films in American, but I'm just saying for a big studio to be this centered on the Chinese culture wasn't typical for a big American studio at this time, especially one that's action, kung fu, comedy, sci-fi, supernatural, just a crazy combination of all. It was unique and it should have been a hit. And nowadays, people consider it, a classic, but back then it just bombed and it's ridiculous. That's what Turn Right Now. I wonder where that Pork Chop Express is nowadays. I wonder like who has that, or if that's junked, or back then people didn't save stuff. If the film comes out, didn't do anything, oh well. But I do wonder who has this truck, the Pork Chop Express. I think this is a set, or this is a. I think a lot of music videos were shot in this set that was built. Would you leave your food out there and not even take your food in? Pretty much driving down this really thin alley. Oh, there's first appearance of Lo Pan. It was interesting that, this guy would just be wearing this kind of hobo outfit, just looking on. Just to watch this battle in between. I have a feeling that was added afterward. Fighting Ton? Oh, don't worry, they're good guys. Just to explain to the audience more. Just not all the time, but a lot of times when you don't see the actor's mouths, but you just hear the voice. Just that reaction, holy shit. That was Al Leon who just ducked down. Al Leon was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He was in One of the Terrorists in Die Hard. Been a lot of stuff. And that guy's been a lot too. The bald guy. I forgot his name though. It's funny, like, we get the gunplay first. And some high energy editing, but it's not confusing and doesn't feel convoluted either. A little bit more gunplay to go back and forth. Get the guns out of the way and then go more hand to hand afterward. He's just got this little knife, as if they don't do anything. But that knife does come into play later. There's Allion. Oh no. There's Allion right in the middle there in red. With his like meat cleaver. Like nice editing between the two with the music. Nice build up to it before the battle begins. There you go, you get some nice martial arts in there. You get the bad guys doing some stuff, good guys doing some stuff. Boom. Now, of course, as PG-13, you're not going to see a lot of big gore stuff, but you definitely get the impact of the Ooh, right through the board. There you go. Stab, but if you pause, you tell the stab is a bit off center because, again, ooh, nice arm break. I didn't just like doing what you can to avoid deal with the censorship. Ooh, nice. Ba, 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 ba. And that will be shown later, that sort of little sign between the two. Not between the two, between the men. And just when you think it can't get crazier, now you get these guys coming in. Which, of course, the look of these were definitely inspired later on for Raiden in Mortal Kombat with the hats. Especially this one coming up. Well, not now, that's Rain. But when lighting comes in, it's like, okay, that's definitely Raiden later on. There you go. And yes, someone with Mortal Kombat saw this movie again. You know what? This hat and this electrical stuff, that would make well for a video game character. And it's cool that some of these guys were interviewed for the Blu-ray. And this is where you just, what the movie just get crazier and crazier. There you go, boom. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I like these unique weapons and Jack Burton doesn't know what to say. He's like, fuck you, just go. Doesn't matter, fuck you, just go. He's like, forget it, just go. Ah, there you go. There's Lo Pan, James Hahn, who was also in The Golden Child. He was been in a lot of stuff. I mean, he was the voice of the father to Jack Black's character in Kung Fu Panda, the one who raised him. This is probably his most recognizable role was Lo Pan. This guy just ran my truck through with light coming out of his mouth. But James Hahn's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, he was in Blade Runner. He was in Wayne's World 2. He was a voice in, I did Kung Fu Panda, and even, that film Turning Red that came out. He was a voice in Mulan, the original. Oh, they know you. Let's go! I just like anywhere they took, it's like there's these 3 Storms crazy guys, there's that Dane. It's like, where the hell did they go? Now the 3 Storms, Thunder, the bigger guy, that's Carter Wan. Rain, that's Peter Kwan. And Lightning is James Pax. And that bald guy I was talking about, that's Gerald Akamura. That was the guy that fought Samurai Cop in the movie Samurai Cop. The guy's, oh yeah, the bald guy, that's Gerald Akamura. 3 Storms. Now, I never understood this. Like, they both went to separate tunnels, it looked like, but then they're in the same tunnel. Cause I swear they both like go into different tunnels, and then or maybe I keep watching it wrong. Dragon of the Black Pool. I don't know what the hell that means. China is here. What's that mean? China is here? I don't even know what the hell that means. I loved it. I trip straight through him with light coming out of his mouth. You can't blame the guy just being confused, flustered, frustrated, and just like discombobulated. See him, then you don't. And I don't want to hear after God. So this guy Eddie is played by Donald Lee. He didn't get to do a whole lot. He had like tiny parts in, I think, Memoirs of Invisible Man and U.S. Marshals. I think he was in that. Didn't get to do a whole lot. I think he did a lot more TV than movies. The hell, what? Chinese have a lot of hells. I think that was another deleted scene where the older guy was telling about the hell of this, the hell of that, and also what the hell is she doing here? But they cut that bit down. I love that type of t-shirt Jack Burton wears too. I mean, it's hanging up, but I think that was just like found in the store from what I understand, but it's an interesting design on the shirt. You're definitely an outsider. So looking up here, it says the first version was written by Gary Goldman, David Z. Weinstein. 1880s with a Jack Burton as a cowboy who rides into town. A weird western, Chinese fantasy elements with an old west setting. The problems came largely from the fact it was set in turn of the century San Francisco, which affected everything: style, dialogue, action. Fox wanted a rewrite with major alterations. Studio wanted update to a contemporary setting. Then they brought in W.D. Richter. And he directed Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, I should say. It was modernized. Fox wanted to deny Goldman and Weinstein writing credit and eliminate their names from press releases. They wanted only Richter to have credit. The Writers Guild of America, Richter did get an adaptation by credit. Director John Carpenter was disappointed that Richter did not get a proper screenwriting credit because of the ruling. The rapid-fire delivery dialogue was inspired by Howard Hawks' films. Yeah, I can see that. To compete with rival production of the Golden Child's casting of Eddie Murphy, Carpenter wanted a big star of his own, and both Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson were considered but were busy. Yeah, I don't see them doing this type of film. Kurt Russell liked the notion of playing a hero who has so many falls. Jack is and isn't the hero. He falls on his ass as much as he comes through. The guy's a real blowhard. He's a lot of hot air, very self-assured, and a screw-up. At heart, he thinks he's Indiana Jones, but the circumstances are always too much for him. It's a difficult picture to sell because it's hard to explain. Dennis Dunn was in Year of the Dragon and had seen him in that and liked his work. Jackie Chan was at one point considered for the role of Wang Chi, but decided after the box office disasters of The Big Brawl, The Protector, he should put more time and effort into his career in Hong Kong. Jackie Chan felt. The studio pressured Carpenter to cast a rock star in the role of Gracie Law, but Carpenter wanted Kim Cattrall. Damn, sorry about that. Dean Cundy did the director of photography work. He worked with John Carpenter quite a few times, and he's done like Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis, a lot of other stuff. There you go. There's the storms coming again. There you go. You deserve a bitch. Goodbye. Right through the fucking wall. Like you deserve. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson wanted to do a remake of this. Thankfully, that has quieted down. Just let it go. No need for a fucking remake or sequel, whatever the hell they wanted to do. The film will be a sequel and continuation of the previous film. We're not recasting Kurt Russell. Just a follow-up movie to the original. I'm sorry that. Trying to punch. See, that's the blowhard where he thinks he could take this guy on. Okay, take your best shot, just blast it right through. Almost ready to be knocked the fuck out. But he's trying. You gotta say, despite what else, he is trying. He might not be the most capable guy, but he's in there trying. He's not running away, he's not a coward. So you gotta appreciate the effort. And there they go. Not real. Where the hell am I? Will you sleep at your office? So yeah, before this, John Carpenter had done Christina Storm, and after this he did Prince of Darkness and They Live. Because he was just not really for doing movies with studios after this. He didn't really have a good time working with the studio. So, go do a deal with the lower budget studio and more independent films. That's why Prince of Darkness and They Live were next. This is a 7.2 on IMDb, which is a good rating. I mean, I would give it higher, but... You are. I just experienced some unreasonable things. You tell me what is going on. I could take it. This is one of those films I watched endless amounts of times on VHS. And I gotta be honest, whenever this film ends, I always get sad. I know this is the dumbest feeling, but I always get sad when this film ended. Each time I watched it because I'm having so much fun. Because it's so energetic. You have great, likable characters. You have such fun, snappy, fast dialogue. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president. I just, it's such a well-written, fun character. Same with Dennis Dunn. Like, you love their back and forth with each other. Total concentration. I was born ready. Just all the elements worked well together. The music, you have some good action pieces. It's unique. And that's why, yeah, so many of these crap films, they get the prestige or they get the pass or they get the box office and they don't deserve it. And these great films bomb, or people don't see them, or people don't get it, and then you just sit there, you know, no wonder you get so many crappy movies come out. Says here, John Carpenter wanted Jackie Chan because of the success of Police Story, which was 85. But the producer, Lawrence Gordon, was against it because The Protector and Battle Creek Brawl bombed, and then Jackie Chan declined anyway. Yeah, that scene when he was talking and sitting in the chair and back by dawn called the president, he had a bad flu during that time. Yeah, the studio put little into promoting this film for some reason, so people didn't even know the film was out. Yep, there you go. Not really the... Nah. Yeah, it's not gonna work out. Says that John Carpenter was not entirely satisfied with Boss Film Studios, the company in charge of the effects. According to him, they took on more projects than they could handle, and some effects for the film had to be cut down. Richard Edlund, head of the studio, said that there were no difficulties with the company's workload, and Bitro was probably its favorite at the time, with the exception of Ghostbusters. The effects budget for the film, which is under $2 million, which Edlund said was barely adequate. So... Sorry, I'm looking through the trivia, wondering what I'm doing. Well, I know now not to listen to Now Playing Podcast. 1, recommend. 2, not recommends. Anyone who doesn't recommend this film, don't listen to them. Whatever opinion they have on movies. It's all Warren Wayne. There's only 1 mile yet. That'd be scary to like... I mean, not as scary as it might do sound, but I don't know. underwater scenes, like you gotta film it, just how many takes you gotta film it, and if you do it wrong, you gotta be careful not breaking the take, and make sure you move the wrong. This is pretty violent for PG-13. All these decomposing dead bodies. Hell of the upside down sinners. Again, it just, you watch it just going, where the hell is this movie going next? In a good way. Like, wow, like these underground, I mean, these. And this scene here just. Like these tennis balls and just boom. And there's Rain, Peter Kwan, I believe. I already forgot the name of the Thunder. Cattrall, Peter Kwan, and James Pax. Now this set we'll see much later in the film. You know, you see those statues, they gotta be demolished. They gotta be. Where the hell are we, Wayne? You are nowhere. Sorry, I know that's annoying. I just keep thinking about the dialogue. Here's a little Pan, his physical form, and then different from his mystical form. At least unlike X, which is a film I saw recently, there's a reason why you have a younger guy and older makeup. This difference between, it's the same person, you gotta show both versions of it in the same movie. Now I don't understand. You're not in this world to get it. I have a friend who wrote this book, pretty good book on Western martial arts of the 70s. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to have. Sometimes I have a. I don't know if I'll have like a picture of the poster, but this is his book. Good guy named John Beckett, Flying Ninja 1. And I look forward to one in the 80s. He says he's going to do one in the 80s, which I look forward to. I would have to assume this film will be in it. But I don't know what his thoughts are on the film, but this is definitely one of the best of its kind. Are you crazy? Is that your problem? And Lopez, just a great villain. This idea of this man who's in this old form shell, and his whole deal is that he wants these two women sort of regain his flesh and gain more power as well as pleasure. Now, there were comic books made that were trying to be sequels to this, but I couldn't get into the comic books because I thought the dialogue was not as well written. I'm like, Jack Burton wouldn't talk like this. Like, the dialogue I thought was just so off and awful, and I'm like, did the people who wrote the dialogue ever watch this movie? Or did the Psycho Ward, whichever comes for buy this shit? This is another fun line. This really pisses me off to no end. Like, the script for this is very underrated, and the dialogue is very underrated in this film. That I think for the mainstream doesn't get as much credit as it should. Same with John Carpenter himself. I mean, if John Carpenter gets brought up, it's because of the first Halloween, but so many other films and classes this guy has done that just deserve so much more credit, and people have been inspired by or influenced by, and just doesn't get the credit it deserves. I mean, it's a cult classic, and we understand it, but I don't know, just seems like a lot more than. I wish this was a hit. I would love to have seen a proper sequel in like '89. There we go. Yeah. That knife should come into play later. There's Cattrall as Thunder. You hide in plain sight, trying to be a gentleman to these people before they get captured. Cattrall tried to be like a kind of a big martial arts star overseas, and it didn't quite work out. Some people would say that, yeah, he tried to be this big star, but it just wasn't really in the cards, and he just never became that big star that people wanted him to be. I forget the names of the movies he was in. I don't know, maybe we should just chew our way out of here. There you go. I don't know why, this one dialogue coming up always intrigued me. I think because these two get like when they get on their when they kneel down, it's almost as if the two of them are telling a little story around a campfire, or it's like Dennis Dunn is telling Jack Burton a campfire ghost story. I think because the two actors work well together, the music fits. No horseshit. I'm laughing because I know what's going to happen. You make one false move. One move. Not false, one move. How? I mean, to that'd be a bit scary. You have to put a lot of trust in this kid. I don't know if they filmed it where they go forward and it's acting like he's going backward, or they really just made him go backwards on that wheelchair. Maybe go backwards because it still feel a bit dangerous because you can't quite see where you're going. You have to put in trust into people, know what they're doing. That's what I mean. Like, you have your hero, but he's bumbling and barely making it through, while the other two Like, these guys are much more adept in fighting. And here we're going to see Lo Pan change forms. You heard me. Also, an interesting effect with the glowing hand and the glowing face. Pretty cool practical work. This probably is in 4K. I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is in 4K. Be curious to see what this looked like in 4K. It's funny, I got a 4K player, and the only one I have is Predator. I just haven't had the time or money to get more. Because I don't rebuy everything into 4K. And critics there were some critics at the time going, "Oh, this is just stereotypes of the Chinese culture. This is just as offensive as Charlie Chan." And it's like, did we watch the same damn movie where Dennis Dunn is more the capable lead while Caruso is the bumbler and the comedic sidekick? Not quite there, you know. There's Jared Nakamura. He just got taken down. Safety! Oh, yeah. And didn't quite shoot. Just like... Sure it is. It is. Didn't know about safety, didn't know how to shoot the gun, but he was able to do it. I mean, he's able... That's the thing. He's still able to help. He's still able to be essential to the team, but scenes like that, or when he accidentally knocks himself out, still showcases that character, but also makes the character not useless either. Like, he's the one that's going to be going to get these girls out while the other two fight. He's the one who killed that guy before. He's the one who's going to kill Lo Pan. So he gets his moments to shine, but at the same time, keep that bumbling aspect. So you have this balance of both worlds. You don't make him completely useless, but you don't make him just a typical gun-ho hero. So there's this great balance that the film has. Same with balance of action and comedy, fantasy, and the supernatural with... Like, this stuff is grounded. Women kidnapped, bad guys, guns, fisticuffs, out of like Streets of Rage or something. As well as mixed in with the mystical and the fantastical. That's the thing, this film did a rare balance of so many things, and the fact that so many highbrow critics couldn't understand that was just ridiculous to me. Same with John Carpenter's The Thing. They don't kick their ass off. I have no idea. There you go. Why are these girls screaming? This guy's saving you, obviously, but you guys are screaming. Oh my god, this guy's saving us! I'm gonna scream, ah! I don't know why the girls are screaming. Oh my god, this guy's saving our lives, ah! There you go. Nice work by Dennis Dunn there. Whole ass. Thankfully, those doors are metal, so that the bullets won't go through. It's like, Tim Cattrall, you take off the mouth gag already. Just do it. And also, I mean, it's serious, but it keeps the tone consistent. If you had like one of the characters brutally killed off and this and that, it would break the tone and consistency. And that's what I mean. It keeps this balance of the stakes are serious, but at the same time, this fun tone throughout. Just thrilled to be alive. I think there's one video game that came out of this. It was for the Commodore. Like, there's none. I mean, because the film wasn't a success, so there's none for Nintendo or Super Nintendo or. That'd be great for someone to do like a Super Nintendo, like that type of side scroller where you put even a lot more crazy like creatures and monsters, and each of the bosses, like here's Storm 1, Storm 2, Storm 3. Maybe the 3 storms at the same time. The creature with the eyeballs, the beast, or what the hell you call that beast creature? Beast Man, and then Lopathy. I'm surprised no one has done like a side scroller beat 'em up type of game where you play like Jack Burton, you play as Dennis Dunn's character. This is one of the great moments. This whole speech, this whole plan, what we're going to do, and not quite. Follow the leader. 1, 2. Oh shit! He did some people. Just like 2 or 3 of them. I think he got like 2 or 3 of them, but then I think he like accidentally throws his knife. Ooh, some nice roundhouse kick there. Nice good old punch. Back punch. I mean, some of those kids, like that's Dennis Dunn, but some of those high flying kids might not be Dennis Dunn. There goes Al Leon, kicked right into Al Leon's face. And he missed the fun. Again, I love this musical score. It fits so well with the tone of the movie. It's such a big plus for the film. This beast creature, like, right behind this thing. Now, I see, like, there's a lot more girls in jail or capture than just that. Again, it seemed like there's a lot more girls than that. It's like what, one, two, like five girls. It seemed like there was like double, triple that in the cages. I don't know where the hell else they ran off to. And also, it strikes a nice, still the right balance. I don't know, if balance is the right word, but it feels like that was not done for nothing because they still saved some people's lives. You know, they didn't get Dennis Dunn's girl. Kim Cattrall is still there, but you still saved, you know, 5 or 6 people's lives. So, but my point is, if you go all through that and then feels like nothing was accomplished, you go, well, damn, what was the point? I mean, it was entertaining, but at least because there was some other people there to save, it felt like there was something was gotten out of it. There was some type of purpose gotten out of it. I know that doesn't. It's just nice to see. Yeah, I think it's another nice little bit of writing that goes probably unchecked. Or is that, you gotta have them save a couple people to give a type of meaning to that whole venture. There's the old Lopan with the old makeup. Let me check up what's all on the. I mean, I have the Stream Factory Blu-ray, but I forget what's all on it. Oh, you're looking at the guy. Let's see. Sorry, so just checking up real quick. Yeah, you probably got a bestseller in there. You have a commentary producer Larry Franco, commentary with effects artist Steve Johnson, the commentary with director John Carpenter Russell carried over. The score, trailers, TV spots, dad reel, music video, deleted extended scenes, extended ending. Part of the extended ending is they find the guys in that red car and the truck pushes the car off the docks. New interview with Dennis Dunn, James Hahn, Donald Lee, Carter Wan, Peter Kwan, Al Leon, W.D. Richter, the original writer, Gary Goldman, which was interesting to hear like the initial idea pitch of the movie. James Liu, who was a martial arts choreographer. Nick Castle, who helped work on the song at the end. Same with Tony Lee Wallace. Drew Struzan, who worked with the movie, who drew the movie poster. And then the Arrow video interviews they carried over. John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, Dean Cundy, Larry Franco, Jeff Amada. Older interview with Richard Enland. Now, Larry Franco, he was a PA, and he went from assistant director to production manager to finally producer. And he worked behind the scenes with John Carpenter on The Thought, Steve in New York, The Thing, Christine. So I drove in through the features here. This was pretty detailed. deleted scenes. Let's see. Airport. Driving into the black pool. Yeah, again, some of the stuff I mentioned before. You're the Hero with Dennis Dunn. 14-minute interview with the actor. Begins with how he came to acting, how he was cast in the film. Discussion, though brief, is very informative. How they approached Wang Chi. James Hahn tells about his childhood in Minnesota and how at the time their Chinatown was literally 2 stores. He got a start in a small theater in West LA. He worked with Gene Wilder. Worked with Steve Johnson on the makeup effects. Donald Lee talks about his childhood, trained as an actor, performing artist at the San Francisco Conservatory, moving to New York. He was cast as a bad guy in a soap opera. Carter Won tells about how he was born in Macau. He trained in martial arts, specifically Northern Shaolin. He worked with John Woo in his first role. He even lived with John Woo for a little bit. His career a bit from the 70s and 80s. How he got the role in Big Trouble in Little China. Peter Kwan tells about his childhood in Northern California. That's the guy who was Rain, Peter Kwan. He became a professional dancer. And how, John Carpenter was really good behind the scenes. And there were people who were mad at John Carpenter. Oh, a white guy directing this. But John Carpenter just wanted to do a good movie. Let's see. Oh, W.D. Richter, he talks about how the original name for the character was Willie Prescott, not Jack Burton. So, yeah, the original name for him is Willie Prescott. The original writer, Gary Goldman, him and David Z. Weinstein were writing. They had a lot of unproduced scripts. A film they were inspired by was Troy Hart's The Butterfly Murders. The Coupe de Ville, the song at the end, was John Carpenter, Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers in the first Halloween, and would go on to direct Major Payne and Dennis the Menace and The Last Starfighter. And then Tom Lee Wallace, who would become a director of Halloween 3 and the 1990 Stephen King's It. The three of them had this band, the Coupe de Villes, and they sang the song at the end. Yeah, apparently Carpenter just hated working with the studio and had a lot of issues with the studio telling him what to do, what not to do. And then it led to Carpenter just doing more lower budgeted films. He was with the company Alive Films. That's the ones who did Prince of Darkness and They Live. I know I've been talking through this whole traditional sort of preparation to see if these two women are viable for what Lopez wants to do with them. And despite all these years, he's lucky enough to have both women viable. One to take to be a physical body, one he'll just have fun with. So he will marry both women. Lucky man. 2-for-1 special. I talked through, dealing with A Chin, Victor Wan's character. And this is like Victor Wan, other than the... If he didn't have that opening, you would have seen him briefly in that tour guide and then like an hour in. So I think it was actually nice to see him at the very end. Now that creature, I always thought looked the coolest. It will come out no more. What? What will come out no more? I always thought that creature looked so cool. And I always thought, man, what is that creature? What the hell is it? I almost wanted that creature to come back. Or like get more of a good look at the creature. Maybe if you got more of a better look, it would look more fake. But it's like, oh, there was... Maybe just is how brief you see is what makes it look cool. But it's like, wow, they look such a cool, like, weird bug. But not really, I don't know what you call it. And a creature you never see before, you never see again. So it makes you wonder what the hell else is down there. What the hell else is in this fantasy world. Thanks. It gets worse. Come on. Sorry, now I'm listening to Victor Wan talk. Get to the damn point, late. I love that. Get to the goddamn point, Aid. Only a dream can kill a dream. I know that was one of the initial ideas of the film, is that you start off in our world. You have the alleyway street, you have the fight with guns and fisticuffs back and forth, and that as the film goes on, you get drawn into this more fantastical era with the weird production designs, people in these weird like costume, these suits, the creatures, like that one creature underground, and you don't have the sort of his version of a spy cam, and like this crazy architecture. There's Gerald Nakamura and Al Leon. So, I mean, they got knocked out for a bit, they're still alive. Which makes sense. Ah, there's the little shitheel. God, what is that? Don't tell me. What is C's Lopan knows? All these damn eyeballs on it. And Victor Wan and James Hahn just a good back and forth foes to each other. Just seems natural. And James Hahn just have a lot of fun. As he says, the best of both worlds. Never know until you try. And yeah, we'll come back to this for our finale of the film. Yeah, but no guards, no opposition in between just in case. Yeah, I love the architecture in this. I love the big skull thing in the back, and this like a weird like Buddha from hell type of thing. And I'm curious, like, what were the biggest hits of 1986 in these different variety of creatures? It is interesting that you never see that one creature ever in the. So how fucked it? Yeah, only one button. Ah, the medicine. I feel like I'm invincible. Fire, water, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, real things. Wind, fire, that's what it is. It's a liberty, never lose a feather. I'm sorry, I'm just watching now, just this elevator scene where, in a way, they're kind of high. Feel pretty good. I'm not scared at all. Just kind of invincible. See, everybody's like, it's like a little bit of high, and Victor Wong is like, just trying to deal with it. See, everybody in the. Getting high there, or is it just me? Now, the 10 biggest hits in the U.S. was Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Platoon, Karate Kid Part 2, Stretch It 4, Back to School, Aliens, The Golden Child, Ruthless People, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So, I mean, it's, people say Golden Child was such a bomb, but it made $79 million, which is a pretty big hit. And Aliens, that's number 7, that made $86 million. And that was the only Fox film in the top 10. Top 2 by Paramount, then Orion, Columbia, Paramount. Like, Paramount had 5 movies in the top 10. Oh, here we go. It's funny, they actually have like opening weekends, like what came out number 1 in each opening weekend. Will it be Please Tammy 3 was #1 for 3 weeks. Oh, there you go. Stab that sucker. Here's getting ready for the charge. Everyone's ready for battle. We're ready for the 3, 2, 1. But Jack Burton just knocks himself the fuck out. It's that shot of the legs. There you go. That's the shot of him laying flat on his ass. That's Jack Burton. He's trying. And he has some really good martial arts. Ooh, beautiful 3-piece in a biscuit. And that's where you go even more fantastic with the martial arts. Going up the walls. Well staged. There you go. Nice work with the sword. There you go, Jack. Didn't really shoot that guy, but Dennis Dunn versus Rain. But I also like that it's after they take that drink where things are a bit more elevated. That maybe because that drink is why they're a little bit more. The superpower pill. There's Joe Nakamura. Goodbye, Joe Nakamura. Then you think you're gonna do it? No. What the fuck? Boom. I'm gonna blow you away. There you go. Yeah, pretty good fight between Dennis Dunn and guy who plays Rain. I think, Dennis Dunn did some of this. He didn't do all this, but he did some of this. Enough, capable stuff. Ah, shit. There you go. And in America, we were not seeing films like this. I mean, nowadays people think it's typical because you see like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all the wire fu stuff, The Matrix, like Bulletproof Monk, even stuff in Blade. Like, so many films in America are typical to see. One, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, not America, but this was crazy to see back in the day. I mean, for American audiences, this was not a typical thing to see. It just made it feel more unique and different. And I love that eyebrow thing it does done, sort of. Yeah, what of it? Bring it. Not only that, now you have a sorcery battle as well. The Power Ring Challenge. You keep your Lord of the Rings, I'll take this any day. And twice on Sunday. Whee! I mean, just again, this stuff has a charm that lasts a lot longer than the CGI. That's what people don't understand. There you go, you try a shotgun, I shot you bad, bitch. Boom. I think that's Al Leon there. That just got sliced. Fucking Raiden messing up the party. Fuck you, Raiden. Quick decision. There you go. Goodbye. Just destroy the shit out of everything. I just should have known this creature would come back because you never get to see him killed here. This jet, like, he's just getting lost in her outfit. I took something. just don't worry about it. I took something. I mean, that could be, you know, I took some meth. I took some meth. I took some crystal meth. I took some vitamins. I took some steroids. I took some doobies. I took some caffeine. I took. It could be anything that he took. Don't worry. I took something. And then the fact that later on he, like, again, your hero comes out with fucking lipstick over his face. Again, that's what kind of film this is. It's unique and it's funny and it's like there's the fucking lipstick on him. That's why in, like, Roger Ebert, he's a guy that sometimes I get surprised by a review he did, like The Golden Child, Leviathan, you know, Rambo 2. I get surprised. And then other times I just don't get it. Like how, you know, critics don't realize just how creative and different and unique this film tried to be. It's like they just disregarded. Nowhere. Oh, you know what old Jack Burton says at a time like this? Who? Jack Burton. Me. That was used a lot of the trailers. Who? Jack Burton. Me. And then people are like, well, who the hell is this? Doesn't really do a good job selling the movie. So, like, the TV spots and trailers pretty... It's not the greatest in this. I would say more the TV spots were more lame. I didn't quite get it, but that's okay. You'll get a second shot. And then this is going to be Jack's greatest moment. There you go. You had a setup earlier on with him catching the bottle, which surprises you. And then this right here. It's all in the reflexes. That's another, again, good example of writing. You set something up that seemed crazy with the bottle, and you follow through here. Same with these statues. It's all in the reflexes. Now, in the trailer, there's an extra line where Cattrall says, "Good job, Jack." I can see why it was cut out, because it wasn't needed, but if you watch the trailer, there's an added line Cattrall has that's not in the finished movie. Now, this thing with Carter 1, the way he dies, I don't know if it's his version of suicide? I guess in a way, it's like he failed his master, so his version of seppuku or something, I don't know. Or he tried to turn himself into a bomb, I don't know. But he gets so pissed he can't control it. And this does lie is the one that kills me. All these going to stop. There goes two storms. There's only one left. Oh shit. Here comes Raiden. Now this lightning guy, I mean, he could shock him right now, but he likes to take his sweet ass time to do what he wants with this stuff here. Like why he's doing this and not shooting lightning bolts at them, I don't know. Yeah, he just likes to take his sweet ass time. Like he could be shocking him. He just walks up to him. This is a pretty good jump. Super jump. Now he has crap aim. Oh, this lightning's not really a good storm. He's really shitty at his job. How'd he get up there? Wasn't easy. I don't know why that line it makes me laugh. Was it easy? And where the hell did he have that? In his back pocket? This whole thing, this Batman thing he has. Count on it, chum. There you go. Let's aid Shin get some. There you go. Slam the stone around his fucking head. There you go. Boom. Cave your damn head in. Go for Wayne. There you go. Now get the hell out of here. But where are the other guys? I guess they just left without him. Or he told him to go. I'll meet you there. Now this shot with Kurosa coming up is a very dangerous shot. It's a squib that just went off too soon. You see when Kurosa runs, this explosion happens really near Kurt and it wasn't supposed to happen. Just watch. With these gunshots, there's one that's like right next to his face. There, right there. That was like right next to him. And from what I understand, John Carpenter's really pissed at the guy. Because you see how close that is? That could have blasted Kurosa's eyeballs. It could have blinded him. It could have caught him on fire and hurt him. That's a really dangerous thing. Because it's supposed to go off. Okay, imagine you're running. Okay, imagine I run past this. I go past and then it explodes. But when I get to here and then... Psh, very dangerous. And Kurosa said that's one of the only times I saw John Carpenter lose his cool on set, which made sense. I mean, this is after shit like the Twilight Zone, the movie and stuff happened. Now, if you watch when it said extended ending, this scene goes a bit longer, where what happens is they see the red car, which is the gang they dealt with at the beginning, and they go after and they push their car and them into the water to get revenge on them. But I guess they thought, doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, if it was left in, I would not have minded, but I could see why it was cut out as well. There's Aid Shin. A long vacation. Wherever I go. And here we're getting to the end of the film. And we have that wonderful song at the end by the Coupe de Villes. I love that song. Big trouble in Little China. I think John Carpenter hates it, but I love it. I think it fits so well. I think it's a very catchy, fun song. And like I said, every time this movie ends, I always get sad. And I will watch the end credits and just be sad. And I won't let you suffer me being sad through the credits, but this is a film that just brings a lot of joy, a lot of fun, humor, action, spectacle, all a combination with great likable characters. It tried to be unique, and it was penalized for it, sadly. And then with, lack of marketing, people not getting it, all in between. Like even this bit, usually you kiss at the end. Nah, not in this movie. Maybe in the sequel. That never happened. And then, this nice sort of part of the ways between these two buddies who shook the pillars of heaven, did we, Wayne? No bullshit, Jack. Just a great work between these two guys, and again, just makes me sad that we never got to see at least one more adventure with these guys. Just that's what I mean. Just so much fun, so much joy, entertainment. Just leaves a smile on your face, and again, each time I see this, it's just sad that we have no more. I mean, how many movies do we have that got, like, do we need 10 Fast and Furious movies? We got 10 Fast and Furious movies now, but we only have one Big Trouble in Little China. We have, how many Halloween films we got? But only one Big Trouble in Little China. And it says, give me your best shot, pal. I can take you. Again, it's such a catchy, fun song. And that's what I mean, just, I hear this song, and it's like, man, I'd never going to get to see any more of Jack Burton. I'm never going to get to see any more of Wang Chi. I'm never going to get to see any more of Age Shin. And what other adventures, like an adventure in China, or maybe an American, how they have the Chinese, maybe an American backstory, and Jack Burton needs their help, or some other, like, maybe the American version of Lopan or something else. I mean, the sky's the limit, and Sally, we'll never see any more of that. So, as the credits play, this is an absolute classic. It's a wonderful film. Love it to this day. With that said, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.